The Voice Season 27 is truly the boys' show, but it's the only girl on the panel who is making a statement so far. Kelsea Ballerini is setting herself up as the bubbly, lovable coach of the season. She makes up the Voice green room with freshly baked cookies as a bribe to get the contestants to choose her. But based on 2 episodes thus far, it's not a difficult decision to want to work with the country superstar. She's truly a perfect addition to this show. Her spirit is infectious. Her smile brings joy. She's going to go beyond just being a mentor and steamroll the boys around her. Meanwhile, Adam Levine seems to be finding his footing again. He seems quite passive. Maybe he really misses his former mate. Anyway, the camaraderie is strong as they are all seasoned professionals who just seem to happen to be on the same wavelength. There's no one in this quartet who feels superior to another. In the past, having mega pop stars like Ariana Grande or Miley Cyrus pop in, the aura was different. Even in the past 2 seasons with Reba McEntire, the Queen of Country, there was a bit of a hierarchy. That's not the case this time around. It's refreshing. The chemistry is strong thus far. That being said, Adam Levine is trying quite hard to find his new Blake Shelton. When he refers to John Legend as the pillow fight version of his former bro, it's clear that he's clinging onto the past when he should be focused on a new era. Nevertheless, the coaches have love for one another now, but the battle to the top is still early. The blind auditions continue on. Kelsea Ballerini maximizes her team. It is now time to commence the second night of the blind auditions. Tatum Scott, a High Point, North Carolina native who relocated to Nashville, brings a wealth of country music to the screen. The former party princess, who has musical theater roots, is embarking on this voyage in memory of her chorus teacher, who passed away recently due to breast cancer. Scott aspires to preserve her legacy on The Voice. For her blind audition, the Southern Belle opts for a non-country selection, Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo. She does incorporate a twang into the recording. However, her pure pitch is the most prominent feature. Her tone is impeccable. She possesses the qualities necessary to become a pop royalty. It is apparent that Scott will select the newcomer in town, particularly given that they both possess identical trousers, given the fact that Kelsea Ballerini and John Legend are no longer competing. John Legend attempts to engage her in a performance, complimenting her confidence and lower vocal range. Tatum Scott ultimately opts to join Team Kelsea, which is a straightforward decision. Tatum Scott is a performer to keep an eye on this season, as she is the first performance of the evening. She possesses the capacity to transition between genres, which is a critical skill in the current season of The Voice. It appears that there is a universal desire for a male country intonation. Jaylen Johnston will be the one to surprise the evaluators. The hometown country performer, who is 21 years old, recounts his upbringing by his mother, grandmother, and grandfather. He proudly asserts that he was reared with manners, despite the fact that his father was not present. He assumes the role of Luke Combs in Where the Wild Things Are. The competition is underway to determine the prospective winner, as all participants except John Legend have turned. Nevertheless, Kelsea Ballerini obtains her long-cherished rancher. In a time when it is imperative to have representation in country music, Jaylen Johnston is a voice for the young men and women who have an ambition, but do not resemble the typical country star they hear on the radio. Country music yearns for Johnston's timbre. His vitality is malleable. Johnston has the potential to witness a confetti shower on the conclusion night, provided that he manages his cards correctly. John Legend distributes new Letterman sweaters. Bryson Battles' Start in the Dark immediately impresses John Legend and Michael Bublé, garnering them their chair turns. His soulful interpretation of Leon Russell's A Song for You ultimately convinces all 4 mentors to change their minds. He possesses a stage presence that is reminiscent of an ancient soul. A profound richness exists within that resonates. However, the 21-year-old surprises the audience when he opens his mouth to communicate, despite his baby-faced appearance. The North Carolina native discloses that he has vitiligo, a skin condition that results in the epidermis's inability to produce pigment. He discloses that in his youth, he sought to conceal his identity. However, he has since acquired the ability to accept himself as he is, particularly the heart-shaped spot on his brow, the location where his late grandmother would greet him each time she encountered him. The narrative of Battle is as captivating as it is gorgeous. Michael Bublé's proposal to Battle is that he may possess the most exceptional voice he has ever heard. It may be an overstatement, but it is undoubtedly a compelling reason to consider becoming a member of the Canadian Singers team. However, let's be honest, John Legend is the appropriate individual to serve as Battle's mentor. In a clever move, he is the first artist of the night for Legend. Jordan Allen, a Kentucky resident, is a family man. The Appalachian singer, who hails from a long line of coal miners, is distinguished by his bolo tie and southern fried vocals. Despite music being his primary source of income, he also engages in side hustles such as real estate and lawn care. Allen may be the first to experience that those occupations become secondary to music. We are delighted to observe it. Allen's blind audition will feature him singing Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. His goal is to revive the essence of music that existed prior to the 1980s. His enthusiasm is evident. However, I would venture to suggest that he is most suitable for a wedding singer. He dances around like the relative who was inebriated at the same wedding. Maybe John Legend and Michael Bublé are granting Jordan Allen a shot at the game because of their affection for the era. Most likely, his constructive criticism of his musical choices is the reason he decides to join John Legend. Nevertheless, Jordan Allen may not remain in this competition for an extended period of time, as he appears to be a bit of a gimmick artist. Ari Camille, who holds a theater degree from USC, is a recent graduate. Additionally, she is not the sole graduate in the family. The Voice is the ideal location for the family to commemorate these milestones, as her mother recently completed her nursing education. She assumes the role of I Wanna Be Down by Brandy. In all honesty, Ari Camille is the infant version of Brandy. Shades of the legendary singer and actress are present in every aspect of her, including her personality, voice, and stage presence. She is vocally in tune and moving in the appropriate places. The essence of 90s R&B is encapsulated in her performances. John Legend is captivated by her resemblance to Brandy and continues to express his admiration for her capacity to disclose herself in a manner that is devoid of the stigma associated with the original. Michael Bublé is currently consumed by his desire for punishment, believing that he has a chance to gain Ari's affection. He even goes so far as to attempt to persuade her that he will tattoo her name on his arm alongside his children. He even extends an invitation for her to inscribe her name on his arm. Ari Camille dons the Letterman sweater and joins Team Legend, as she is reminded that the sole occasion on which Brandy appeared to mentor was under John Legend. Is it possible for Adam Levine to discover his groove? Upon returning from a commercial break, the program features an individual who appears to be unrecognizable as they wander around the green room, conducting interviews with prospective singers. We discover that Aen Grove is an actual contestant, not a new field reporter for the program. It is entirely appropriate for him to have a deep voice that is affiliated with his primary occupation, which is that of a sports reporter. It was evident that the standards were about to be removed from his voice the instant he began snapping his fingers. Subsequently, when he disclosed that he had collaborated with Michael Bublé on TikTok duets, we were predisposed to anticipate the outcome. Additionally, Bublé had previously praised the performer during his concert, which prompted the audience to subscribe to him on TikTok. Leave something to the imagination. In his blind audition, the photographs serve as the foundation for his interpretation of Mac the Knife. Michael Bublé was quite captivated by a young and slightly delusional crooner named Edward Preble last season. However, he has since discovered that his musical predilection is not sufficient to secure the victory. To the surprise of all, Michael Bublé does not turn for Grove. However, Adam Levine does. Michael Bublé has the opportunity to seize him later in the season while he is on the program. Bublé has a profound admiration for Grove on account of the exceptional music technique class he conducts on the spot regarding Grove's vibrato. He is amenable to allowing him to mature under the guidance of another coach before intervening. In recent singing competition shows, it appears that the pipeline from athlete to vocalist is a prevalent trend. Bryson Moore recalls that he participated in the Little League World Series as a varsity baseball player. However, singing was always a secondary activity. He has finally found the time to set aside sports, as music carries his heart, after missing out on a previous opportunity to audition for The Voice due to baseball. He performs the song Yellow by Coldplay. His tenor is captivating from the outset. Moore's vocals are characterized by a genuineness. His falsetto is flawless. Bryson Moore would have been recruited for a boy band in an alternate universe. His celebrity quality is certainly deserving of a 4-chair turn. Moore and the Maroon 5 frontman share an immediate vocal connection, despite their gruffer rock sound. However, Kelsea Ballerini is not about to concede without a fight. She displayed her button with Blake Shelton soundbites last week. She is the one who is chanting her lyrics this week. "Yeah, I'm calling dibs." Boss maneuver. Ultimately, the Texas lad selects the OG coach. It is a match made in paradise. Michael Bublé slams that coach's replay button. Ricardo Moreno's arrival on the Voice stage ignites the atmosphere. Mariachi is in the DNA, as my father is a singer. Nevertheless, he avoids his Latin music origins by incorporating an antiquated song. His rendition of Paul Anka's "Put Your Head on My Shoulder" is beyond his comfort zone. However, he incorporates a Spanish influence. Initially, it appears somewhat whimsical. Even the coaches are aware that something is amiss. However, Moreno's face becomes radiant when the Spanish lyrics are revealed. The instructors, regrettably, do not reverse their behavior. Adam Levine and John Legend assign Michael Bublé the responsibility for his failure to change, as they regard him as the typical influencer. Nevertheless, it is only possible to blame Canada to a certain extent. In particular, Coach's Replay is an alternative because of this. Ricardo is granted a second opportunity by Bublé. He is enthusiastic about the prospect of observing him change genres in tandem with him. Ricardo Moreno possesses a unique quality. His coach is now required to focus on selecting the appropriate music to motivate him. Braxton Gaza arrives with the intention of achieving the admiration of his children. The father of 2 children reports that he and both of his mothers are making every effort to co-parent and nurture their children. The 28-year-old resident of Adrian, Michigan, was motivated to emulate his father's example in order to become the greatest father possible. In the autumn of 2020, his father passed away as a result of complications associated with COVID-19. He informed his son that the last thing he wished to be remembered for was the manner in which he loved. As Gaza recounts, he was the most compassionate individual he had encountered in his life. He is aware that a chair turn could alter his existence, despite the fact that music is not his primary focus. Gaza's rendition of Warren Zid's "Pretty Little Poison" lends him an edge. Gaza's mainstream allure is evident in the current state of country music. Therefore, Michael Bublé prevents Kelsea Ballerini from including him in his team, as he is aware of this. Here's a powerful and astute maneuver that will establish the tone for the conflict between Bublé and Ballerini in the event that Bublé fails to deliver the ball later in the season. It is time for Hickman from Dixon. The individual in question is Susan Hickman, a 39-year-old resident of Dixon, Texas. The artist, who is dressed in teal, is a professional skydiver. Indeed, you have interpreted that correctly. She has participated in over 700 skydives. The country singer recorded her first album at the age of 15, drawing inspiration from LeAnn Rimes. Roxette's "It Must Have Been Love" is performed by Hickman. Although she has country origins, her decision to confront the 1980s demonstrates her courage. The risk is immense, particularly in light of the intonation issues that she exhibits throughout the track. Regrettably, she is the initial victim of the no-chair turn. Is your mind set on crushing it? Carmela undoubtedly is. The 29-year-old Angeleno, who is distinguished by her yellow hair, is recognized for her live streaming of her music. Audioslave's "Like a Stone" is performed in a significantly reduced form by her. Regrettably, her capacity to establish a connection is diminished by commencing in a lower octave. In the game of immediate connection, Carmela's song choice deters her from earning a coach, Despite the fact that she lets loose at the chorus, she is aspirational, but she employs her resources improperly. She becomes the second victim of the no-chair turn of the evening. Even though the song selections are hazardous and Adam Levine is still struggling to regain his mojo, The Voice Season 27 is undeniably enjoyable. We are gradually gaining insight into the potential winner of the season after 2 episodes. That is, which instructor am I referring to? The episode that aired tonight did introduce a few potential artists to watch, but the true test of this season will be whether Kelsea Ballerini can become a novice coach and win consecutive seasons.